You guys, this is Ken Rohla, and separate from the main show, which we just did with him, which I think was really great, I was asking him about the issue of all these things online that say they will make your cell phone safe, make your house safe from EMF fields and all kinds of stuff. And most people have no way to tell whether that's a total scam, whether it's going to make your cell phone okay or shield you when you walk out on the street in the middle of cell towers and you've got this pendant on. So I thought maybe Ken would share a couple of thoughts as a designer of things and somebody who knows about the inner workings and the frequencies. How can you decide which ones are worth it and which ones aren't? So whatever you want to share, Ken, is great.
Well, yeah, one of the things that I do, you have to do in vivo testing of anything, whether it's a supplement or EMF protection or whatever, to see what really goes on in the body. So what that means is using some kind of testing where people can be tested without any exposure to EMF or whatever negative influence, see, what their health status is. Do things, for example, like live blood cell analysis, also known as dark field or light field microscopy, where you can take a sample of blood and look at it. If you're being exposed to EM fields, your blood red cells will clump, and so you'll see that going on. And then also quantum biofeedback with devices like the QXCI SCIO, that's QXCI SCIO, or the newer versions of that machine, the Indigo or the Eductor. If you Google Quantum Alliance and SCIO or something like that, you'll find their website. Or you can go to the services page at freshandalive.com, and there's a lady named Gage Tarrant there who is a SCIO trainer, and there are links to practitioners and things there. And then there's also another quantum biofeedback device called the Life System, LIFE, and all of those devices, you can get connected to them in the presence, first without the presence of any EMF around you or, supplement or whatever, and get a reading, see where you're at. And also these quantum biofeedback devices can see if you've already got EMF damage and to what degree, along with other kinds of damage or nuclear radiation in the body, that kind of stuff. They can see all this different stuff in the body. And then you can bring in a cell phone or whatever, a Wi-Fi router, and see the effects on your physiology while you're hooked up to these machines. And then you can remove that source or put protection on you, like, say, an EMF pendant or a cell phone protector or whatever, and then see, does it sufficiently protect you?
Okay, but if somebody's not doing their own testing and they're just looking at pages on the internet that offer these devices, is there any way to tell what's real and what isn't?
Well, only if people have done some kind of scientific testing on it, which there are some out there that have. It's like the cell phone protectors that we have on our website. That has had, along with my testing using these methodologies I mentioned and some other ones, they have also done specific absorption rate testing, which is really a meaningless test, but it's recognized by the government, where basically you take a balloon full of water and you put an EMF source like a cell phone up close to it, and you measure the temperature of the water, and then you put an EMF source close to it for a certain amount of time, and then you measure the temperature of the water, and if the water temperature is increased, that gives you a value that they call specific absorption rate, or SAR. And it's really a meaningless measurement because it doesn't show, that shows the thermal increase in the water, but it doesn't show the damage that EMF can do in the body even when there's no thermal increase. So it's really a stupid, pointless test, but it does give you some idea as to whether or not a particular EMF device will provide some protection.
So look, considering the ones that you have on your site, freshandalive.com, is there anything you can put on a cell phone that's a little like a coin-sized thing that actually does anything?
Oh yeah, there are lots of good ones on the market now, and if you go to the harmonic shields on my website, we explain how the different technologies work. There's basically 3 different kinds for cell phones. There's either you can take a material like the harmonic shields, bombard the material with scalar waves, and it will alter the geometry of the nuclei of the atoms of that material, and the nuclei become little scalar wave antennas, and then they'll capture this scalar energy all around us and then rebroadcast it in a local field, and that will structure the EMF in its field and protect you. There's another way of using crystals, so you can take some kind of a resin and put quartz nanocrystals in it, or shungite, some kind of mineral that's high in monoatomic elements that naturally irradiates a natural scalar field, and that will structure the EMF.
Does that make it so it's safe to have the cell phone on your body, for example, or no?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't give you carte blanche, for example, to use a cell phone up next to your head or keep it on next to your body. No, it does not. Okay. You've got to use a combination of avoidance, first of all, which means not ever putting that cell phone next to your body. If you got to have it in your pocket or whatever, put it in airplane mode or turn it off.
Okay.
Use either an air tube headset when you're talking on it, where you've got, the earpiece goes to a hollow tube before it hits the microphone and the wire.
So the bad energy does not follow the hollow tube in your experience?
It doesn't, but it will. The whole antenna, the whole headset is an antenna. So it's broadcasting EMF. It just keeps the worst of it from penetrating deeper into the brain.
So speakerphone is better.
Speakerphone is absolutely better. And, if you're doing something like, I don't surf the web if I'm traveling and I really need to find some information, I do. But I don't spend more than a few seconds, at most a couple minutes, doing stuff like that. I don't do email on my phone, that kind of thing.
Right.
You can't use a cell phone as a handheld computer or you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
So you've got to use it just as a phone, just with these conveniences like GPS where you can keep it away from you, have a protector on it, have protection on yourself. I'm constantly putting my cell phone when I'm traveling in airplane mode, constantly. If I'm not in the middle of driving and using GPS, it's either off, which is most of the time it's off, or if I'm needing it intermittently, I'll put it in airplane mode and then turn it on and off with that. But it's first of all avoiding exposure, but even with protection, keeping it away from the body, keeping away from your head, minimizing use. Don't use it as a handheld computer. Use it for the things that you really need in the moment. But, I tell people, you're not going to find me on my cell phone, so don't bother calling or texting or whatever. If I'm not on the road and I'm in a specific business situation, you're not going to get me on my cell phone.
Okay, so I guess the last thing would be on your site, if people want to look for stuff that you have tested extensively and you know that it actually works and is safe, they will find things that are helpful protection against cell phone as long as you don't start using it in a really, unintelligent manner. Exactly. And also against EMF fields that you may have to walk through, as a pennant that you can wear when you go outside of your house. All those things are actually there, and they can look at freshandalive.com.
Exactly. Everything that we sell, I test for months, sometimes years, and confirm what it really does in vivo in people and plants and animals and microbes.
Okay.
So we see, so we know the reality of how they work.
Yeah, the other life forms that are not necessarily humans, they're actually not a mistake. They're supposed to be there in the biosphere, right? So we don't want technologies that hurt them either.
Right, and also, too, sometimes people say, oh, it's just a placebo effect or whatever. It's like, well, no, we've got dogs and cats, we've got ferments, we've got plants that we've measured showing the effects of these devices, so we know it's not just a placebo effect.
Yeah, that is great. Okay, sounds good. That's valuable, and I hope everybody will go to your site, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okie doke.